Thus, Jewish communists, as well as many of those who are not communists, connected the survival and well-being of the Jewish people to Soviet Russia. Turning to domestic issues, Jewish communists consider the Communist Party in America a force for reinvigorating Yiddish culture, not to mention American socialism and the labor movement as a whole. To put it simply, Jewish communists consider themselves both Jews and revolutionaries, and believe the Communist Party in Soviet Russia offer the best way to combine those two commitments. The essence of the history of Jewish communism may be described as the attempt to reconcile ethnic and revolutionary commitments. At times, at certain points, those dual commitments to revolution and the Jewish people diverged. And at others, at certain points in time they converged. At other points they diverged, in accordance with shifting and sometimes contradictory communist policies. This made for a highly fraught relationship between Jews and communism. And it was a relationship rendered all the more intense by the high level of expectation Jews invested in Soviet Russia and the life and death matters at stake, specifically during wartime. Thus, reoccurring cycles of expectation and disappointment, hope and betrayal, illusion and, let's call it, realization, played themselves out over decades. This back and forth dynamic began as early as the 1920s, and I want to focus most of my remarks, the rest of my remarks, on the 20s. As I already discussed briefly, many Jews, and again, not only communists, but large numbers of Jews with various political sympathies, felt tremendous enthusiasm for the Bolshevik Revolution during its early years. The Jewish communist movement grew out of this initial enthusiasm. However, Jewish public opinion began to shift already in the mid-1920s as elements within the Jewish labor movement, specifically anarchists and social democrats, began to criticize the increasingly harsh treatment of political opponents of the Bolshevik regime. Reliable first-hand reports began to arrive in the United States by 1922. Probably the most influential writings in English came from Emma Goldman and Alexander Berkman, early enthusiasts of the Bolsheviks who the United States government deported to Russia in 1919. By the time of the Kronstadt Rebellion, they had grown thoroughly disgusted with the Soviet government and indeed left Russia. In the summer of 1922, Berkman published the first detailed account of Kronstadt in English. In 1923 and 1924, Goldman published My Disillusionment in Russia, and its sequel, My Further Disillusionment in Russia.